Hi guys, a quick update on my knife here. So I've heat treated the blade, and it's actually showing the feather pattern now. You can just about see it there. Can you? Maybe. Yeah, there you can just see the actual feather pattern in the blade now. It's been in my little gas forge, and it's been brought up to non-magnetic and quenched in oil, and that's what the dark staining is on the blade. And that staining will all be sanded off, and then the blade's going to have to go into the oven to be normalised, because at the moment it's very brittle. So if you was to actually use that, it would snap. And I have snapped these before, literally like that. You can just snap them in half, they're so brittle. So yeah, that'll go in the oven to be normalised, and then it will be all sanded clean, and it should look very nice. It will then go into an etching solution to be etched, and that'll really bring out the pattern in the two different types of steel there that I've used. It'll look something like that actually, with the dark strips and the silver strips of metal. So there was a bit of a problem with the piece of timber I'd cut out. Yeah, it broke in half. So I was going to cut another one. Well, I did cut another one, but I sort of changed my mind on this, because I think that piece of antler is going to look a lot nicer against some darker material. And I've got some bits and pieces around, but I decided in the end I'd try this little piece of walnut. So I've done a little carving on the walnut just there, which just to see what it looks like, you know, when the whole thing's together. And I quite like it so far. That that will be just separated slightly, and there will be a black infill layer between them two layers, and then all that'll be polished up. This will be sanded to death, right down to paper that's virtually dust, and that will all be highly polished and oiled. So I think it'll look nice like that. I've made this little spacer or bolster out of strips of stainless steel. Still got this damn cough. And you can just see the different layers. There's 4 layers there. You can just see the different layers. I've actually separated them all with some little bits of black paper, and I've epoxied them all together because I wanted to be able to see them layers, and that should look really nice when it's all been polished. So that will slip onto the blade there. The bolster will actually sit against there like that, and then the wooden top will go on it, and I think that's going to look really grand. Like everything, I'm not totally fixed on this yet, and I'll sort of mock this up with hot melt glue. I'll hot melt glue everything together there, and then I'll test oil that, and I'll polish that up, and when the blade's polished, and I'll see how it looks, and then if I'm happy with it, I'll go ahead and finish that off. And then I'm going to do some scrimshaw work on this antler. Don't quite know what yet, but maybe some basket weave, I don't know yet. Okay, so that's that. And that's where I'm up to. Not been doing any work on the rocket stoves because the weather's lousy. It's snowing outside, and the best place to be is in the workshop, and I want to get this knife finished. Okay, so another thing was, a guy had asked me how I mounted the bearing on my spinning cowl. what I had was an old wheel bearing. Like I said, it came off my boat trailer. It's just a bit worn and rumbly. So what I did, I took a small washer on the centre section, and I actually welded that on inside. I ran some weld around the inside of it to weld that washer onto there. Okay, the reason I did that was so when I welded that onto this plate, it allowed the outer side of the bearing to spin, so the bearing wasn't actually touching the plate there. Okay, well, when I'd welded all that on there, I then had this like dished washer. You wouldn't actually need a dishwasher, a big flat washer would do. And then I welded this coach screw into the centre of that. I then welded this big washer on the outside there, tacked a load of weld around that edge there, so that was then attached to the outer side of the bearing, so that when the whole thing was mounted on there, you know, it spins. I then took that bracket, that metal bracket, and I bent it at a right angle, so that, you know, that's kind of at a right angle, and the bearing's mounted on there up in the upright position. I then drilled a couple of holes into that, and I just bolted that through onto a plate, onto another bracket that's inside the flue. It's just as simple as that, really. Just got to find a way of getting that thing to spin, and that's all it was. The big washer with the bolts to actually mount the spinning cowl on, the washer there so that is the spinning edge, another washer just to give some clearance, and then the plate on top, as I say, bent on a right angle and simply bolted to the plate that's inside the flue. And then I just welded the hole, or not actually, I bolted it, because that's threaded. I actually bolted the crossbar on the cowl to that and just cut off the excess, so, you know, the whole thing's spinning there inside the bracket, and that was it. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I'll have some stove updates shortly. Bit of a change of plan on the boiler, which I'll show you. Okay, bye for now. Thanks for subscribing.